Okay, guys, here is a quick run through for the account managers, how to go into Tsheets and get that going. So if you go to tsheets.com, again, you'll click in the sign in up here in the top right. This section will be coast to coast coaching until we change it over to sports for learning. So you'll do that as the company name. And then it'll take you to the screen. And so for yourselves, you will be using the regional manager that you're adding the schedule in for. So an example, Ryan is adding in a Bakersfield program. His regional manager would be Ozzy. So he would use Ozzy's login, which is just the first initial of their first name and then their last name as their login. And sports, number 4, learning, that's the password to log in there. So, yep, so that's what you'll be using your login. If you have multiple regional managers, you would just use their login for that to go in and change anything around. So I'm just going to use my own one, though, just for video purposes. Sign in. And then once I'm in, you won't need to do any of this stuff. You'll probably see some other notifications and things popping up here. But again, these are all for regional manager side of things. You guys will only need to be doing over here on the left side into the schedule. So you don't need to be in any of these other ones here, just the scheduling over here on the left side, which you'll click on there. And it will show up a screen like this, and you'll see all the coaches in here on this first screen here, because this is what our regional managers look at with all of their coaches who are working for them on this side, and that's how they assign their shifts in there. You guys, account manager side, will switch this view to customers, because the customer, again, is our school that we're working with. So as they're added in, you'll see lots of more schools here. So as you guys go along, this will be full of customers that we're running with for that regional manager. So for you to add in a new one, all you would simply do is say the program's running Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or any day of the week. If it's running Tuesdays or Wednesdays or whatever the days are that you're doing, you would just click here below. This will pop up as in you go to do this to add in sessions. So you can see the start date that this program's going to start. You can change that if you'd like to date. If it's not supposed to be that date that you're on, you can change it to any day that you need. And then you would put in the time. So this session's running from 10 to 11:30. Again, you want to make sure this is the correct time. Sometimes it will switch it from PM to AM or AM to PM. So you just want to make sure that you have the correct hours in there that they're working. This will obviously show you if it's over, if you go to the wrong AM or PM. So just keep an eye out for that there. And again, make sure this is in the Los Angeles time zone for us. Then it would add the title. We are saying right now just to add the school title. So let's just do Battles Elementary School. You won't be changing the color for this first one if you're just adding in just a normal session there. The employees, again, are our coaches, so you will leave this section blank. This is for our regional managers to come in here and change it to the coaches once they have that assigned. You guys will add in the customer. So again, it's Battles Elementary. You can just type it in this little search box. It will pull it up. The only people that will be pulling up in here on the customer view is if they are in QuickBooks already. So again, the process is that you guys need to get your school name and district over to Bree so she can add them into QuickBooks, and so they will show up in Tsheets. So nothing shows up in Tsheets unless it's in QuickBooks because they are synced. So make sure if you can't find your school, it's not in QuickBooks. So go to Bree for that one. And then you'd add the location. Mine already has a preset, but you can just type in whatever the location is, and we'll pull up those addresses. This is just a Google search of anything in the area. So you can type in the school name, and it should come up for the most part. Or the address you can just pull from Google and copy and paste, or any way that you want to do it. So I add the address because this will show up on the coach's shift when they clock in, which is super helpful for us on the regional manager side of things. And then the notes section, we're going to be doing up a new one where we add these new fields in for it. But for right now, this is the section where you want to add in any school values or needs, such as respect, teamwork, things like that, or school needs, high STEM focus for this school, or any sort of PBIS incentives. So these are where we'll be leaving notes. Again, this will pop up in the coach's shift. So this will be constantly reminding them each session that they need to be working on these things at that school there. So we're working to get that set up down here. So it's just a tick off menu as you guys go through, or you type it in like for each section. So that just pops up. So there's a template for you guys. But for right now, until we get that set up on the back end, we're waiting for Tsheets to get back to us. Let's just have this where you guys add that in yourselves for any of the school values, needs, or anything that we need to keep in mind of for these sessions. So, and then you'll be going through to show you how many coaches that you'll need. So again, this is for the estimated amount to make sure the program runs well. So if you're running, again, this is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday session. You'll need 2 coaches going. The minimum amount of coaches that you need is 2 if they're free every day of the week. So we're just going to put in the minimum. Obviously, regional managers will probably need more coaches depending on the schedules, but you will just be putting in 2 there because that's what we cover. You need 2 coaches per session out there going. You would change billable to yes because all these sessions will be billed to the school district. We will populate this on Monday to make sure all the districts are in here. So you would add the school district that's in. This is in Santa Maria, so this is not accurate, but that will all be in there by Monday. The service item, we will knock down some of these as well, but you would just pick the service item that this is. So this is a lunch, STEM, and soccer. Session status, we would leave this blank on your end because obviously we haven't completed or rescheduled and canceled this session. You just leave that blank. And the last thing that you'll be doing here on this little section is you'll hit the repeat box, and you'll be changing this to add to make sure that it's repeating for the regional manager for the whole entire program. So like I said, it was a Monday, Wednesday, Friday session. If it was anything else, you would just click on that box that the sessions are running. And then you want it to repeat until however long the program's running. So if it's running until December, last day is there. We would add that in as the however it's long in. You can see up here again what days it's running and how long it's running until. You don't need to change any of this. It's just saying it's repeating weekly every week on these days here, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then we would hit done. And it will come back to the screen here. We'll just double check and make sure we have all our info correct. 10 to 11:30. School name, address, values, everything's in there. And we would click Save as Draft. Once we do that, you can see that it pops up in here for the regional manager to see that the sessions are there at Battles. So this will look like on your end. It pops up white anytime it's or just saved as a draft. And then so you can see this color here. This is when we publish those shifts, it will look like this. So you'll see a couple different colors in here on what it looks like based on reschedules and other things like that. So I'll go through the colors here in a second, but yep, again, so this is what it looks like. If you need to change anything, if you're like, oh, I forgot to add in something, you can just click on that shift. And if it's something for the whole entire series, you would click edit the whole series and go through, okay, yep, this actually is starting at 10:30, sorry, not 10 o'clock. And you can go back and change the whole series. Again, yep, this is until 11:30. And then you would just hit the save as draft again. So you can do that. Or if it's just for an individual shift, you would just click edit that shift, just the one there, not the whole entire series. And that will pull it up for that individual shift and say this one session is an early release day. This is where it's getting into the colors. Is any sort of odd schedule or anything like that, we'll change that to orange to make it stand out for regional managers. So anything that's the not normal session, so like we had this session is 10:30 to 11:30. If this session's starting at 10 this week and getting done at 11, we'll just leave it as that, just an hour long, so it's starting 30 minutes early. We'll change that to orange because it's not the normal scheduled time in there. You can put this, maybe put early release day, so that stands out as well. in the title. And also in the notes, you can say session starts at 10 a.m. for today instead of 30. That stands out again because this will go exactly to those coaches running those sessions there. And then we'd save that as a draft again. So you guys, all these early release days, you want to make sure that that's planned out for the whole entire program the best we can when you're setting up the schedule with the school, just because it just helps on the regional manager side to kind of see ahead, and that we're not getting called the day before, a day of, or things like that saying, oh, we have early release day, and then it's going to be hard for us to make sure that coaches are there for those sessions. So if we can get this in advance and add this into the shifts, that helps a ton for making sure that regional managers have time to plan it out and see if we can get the coaches there for those sessions. So yeah, anything that's an odd schedule is in orange. So and this will be super helpful. I'll show you in a second when we have different colors on that. So yeah, again, you guys are in this customer view. If you switch this back to the employee view, which our regional managers will be using for the most part because it has all their coaches, they will have this showing up at the top that it's unassigned. So that way they know they need to get coaches for those programs. So they would just click on that program and add in the employee, which is the coach, and it will come into the coaches section down there. So that's what they'll be doing. So that's that. The other colors that will be in here, but you guys will not be doing, is you'll see some blue sessions, which are for whenever the school is rescheduling with us or it's a rain out or anything like that. You'll see a blue session. You also see red sessions in here, which means that it was the coach's fault that we missed the session. They either called out sick or some sort of excuse where they weren't able to make it to the session. So we want to show that to make it stand out, obviously, for yourselves to see when you're going through, and the regional managers to make sure that they're aware that that was a missed session by the coach. And then we have one other color that will be helpful for everyone, is we're going to do green for actual makeup sessions that we're running. So those sessions that have been rained out or coach missed, when we're going to run that session again, we're going to highlight that green just so we know that we're making up that session there. So yeah, those are the colors in there. Again, this is in the regional manager manual, and I'm sure we'll put it in the sales account managers manual just so you know the colors that we'll be using. But your main color that you'll be changing is this orange for any odd sessions that aren't the normal time for that program there. So we also have a different view that will help you see an overall timeline of the program. So if you pull that up, you can see all the colors will be popping up here, and you can see it planned out. So if we have those orange ones laid out throughout the program, you can see it quite clearly that, okay, yep, I need to make sure my coaches next week are good to go, or 2 weeks away for early release day at this school, or things like that. So and again, you can go ahead and click on that shift if you need to edit it. So again, for you guys, when you're adding in these overall programs, this will be a good view for you guys if you need to go through and do any holidays or anything like that, or take out shifts. If you need to delete this shift because they won't be running that day, you just can go through and just delete that individual shift so it doesn't come up there. So yeah, this month-long view is a good thing for you guys to use for setting up the whole entire program. Make sure you have all the sessions in there for that program there, and you can see these will be like blue and red and green if there's anything that was missed by coaches or makeup sessions. So those be other colors in there. So, but yeah, other than that, there's not too much else. The one other feature that you can use is the click and drag. So you can drag sessions to other places if you need to. If there's any reason like the start date gets moved or whatever, you can just move it to another day. And add that session there. If it's like this session gets rescheduled to Tuesday instead of Monday, you can click and drag that so you don't have to go in and set up a new program there, which is a really nifty feature that you guys can use for moving around the start dates and things like that, or anything. If there's a day that we need to move that's off on the schedule, if it's not going to be running on a Tuesday this week, it's going to be running on a Wednesday, we just move that session there for that. So that will be saved into the same thing as before. So, and again, you can edit that if the times have changed or any, and if it's off, change the color again. So, Yep. So that's pretty much the main thing for you guys on the account manager side to be aware of for adding in shifts to T-sheets. So this is kind of the setup for that. Again, you can edit. Well, okay. So one more thing that you can do is if you guys are in the customer view and you have a lot of customers that are, as we're getting along in the year, we can also do this with employees, but you can change up here at the top to the one customer that you're looking to work with. So if you have a lot of them and it's kind of getting a little confusing for you and you need to look at one customer, you can go through, find the customer that you're looking to work with or that you're trying to find the schedule for or something. You can click on that customer and it will just show that one. So nothing else shows up in here. It will just be that one customer and you can do the full month view for that one customer as well. So it's just those sessions and not having to see everybody else, which would be nice to narrow things down if you need to look at one thing there. So, but yeah, so that's the overall idea for the sales guys on inputting things into T-sheets. Again, you won't need to be in any of these other sections, just the schedule there. So you'll be relaying on to regional managers once you input these sessions there, just to let them know, but they will be seeing that at the top that it's unassigned as well. So they'll have a good idea that they need to be getting these coaches in there. So, but always we want to make sure you guys are chatting about these programs to make sure everybody's on the same page. So again, if you have questions, let me know, but that's the basic rundown. All right.